and welcome to another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos. This is episode number 106. This week we cover in our movie of the week, The Power of the Dog. But before we get into it, as always, I'm your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I am Ben.
All right, guys.
I am out of here.
Well, that'll do it for us on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos.
Why are you making us work on the holiest of days?
I know.
Is this really work, though? Don't you have to get paid for it to count as work? Because if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
What if you do what you hate?
Then you're really working twice as hard as everybody else.
Well,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
All right, Ben, did you see anything else besides our movie of the week this week?
I didn't, but I did go to something that I want to share with all of you. Stu.
Chicken place with
boy,
anime
here we go.
this time.
No, I think Stu will be particularly proud of this moment.
I think you're going to be wrong.
We'll see.
But okay.
I went to a movie trivia night over at the Frida Cinema.
Why would I be proud of that?
Huh?
Why would I be proud of that?
Oh, let me get to it.
Oh, okay.
I entered with some friends, and there were, I think, about 60 questions of movie trivia. I was able to answer 2. That's what I contributed to the team.
Your team was like, all right, we got Ben. He watches a lot of movies.
Yeah, but they were like, but they're all they're not anime questions. What am I going to do?
No, Letty's friend actually carried the team. There were some questions like who was the first Black American actress to win an Oscar? Like I have no fucking idea, but she did. So she carried the team. Now, the 2 questions I did get though.
One of them character Speed Racer.
No. The one I'm very particularly proud of, but so the one I'm not so proud of, but still was a kind of. It was okay.
Was it like a clutch moment where nobody else had it and you did?
Well, no. I mean, there are other people who got it, but I was just so proud.
No, I mean in your team.
Oh yeah, I was the only person that. Well, I'll get to it. Now
Okay.
the one question I did know for certain was who is the famous real life wrestler that played the wrestler named Bonesaw in the Spider-Man movie? Do you guys know?
Macho Man Randy Savage?
Jesse the Body Ventura.
No. It was Macho Man Randy Savage. I was very proud of that one. And I kept doing the sawing motion on my arm, yelling Bonesaw in the movie theater. So that was great. It's fucking Bonesaw. Bonesaw!
Oh, he's at the very beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah, with the wrestling match.
I remember. Okay, go ahead.
Now, the second question. This is the one I'm very, very proud of myself for. I think this might be the highlight of my week. It might even be the month, or depending on how the rest of this year goes.
Which one's the least listened to movie podcast? And you're like, oh, I know that.
Okay, so have any of you seen the movie American Beauty?
Yeah,
the one with Kevin Spacey in it.
Oh, you have seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have never seen it. Now, do you know what the character Ricky fit?
Ricky who?
I don't know the names off of that.
Ricky Tan?
Hey, Ricky
Just a midget in
Tan.
a bathrobe. All right. No, I don't. Is that the guy with the beanie?
I don't know. You
The
tell
plastic
me.
bag?
I don't know by name. What?
I didn't know what it was, but the question was, what was the most beautiful thing Ricky Fit has ever filmed, according to him?
Oh, the paper bag, the plastic bag floating in the wind.
I have never seen the movie. I don't even know what it's about, so I had no idea. But on a whim, I said a fucking plastic bag. We got the question right. Do you know why I got that right?
Simpsons.
No.
Oh.
Was it from Not Another Teen?
Yes.
Yes.
That was the only thing I had to cling on to. And I was like, well, there's that weird guy in Not Another Teen movie with his fucking plastic bag. So let's put that.
Nobody else in your team knew the answer to that?
No one.
What? That movie won an Academy Award.
I know, and holy fuck, Chris Evans really carried it, didn't he?
He was in the movie?
That's
Another
America's
teen
ass.
movie. Yeah.
Woo! That man, I have never felt so proud of myself in any given moment of my life. Like, my God, plastic bat.
Okay, then the follow-up question has to be, how did you guys do? Did you guys end up winning?
We didn't. Well, I think we got like in the mid section. Like we weren't last place, but we weren't at the front of the pack. I think we were fourth out of like 8 or 9 teams.
Ben, who is the person who knew all the answers?
It was Letty's friend.
So clearly needs to be our third member on this podcast because not enough information is being passed through these.
What are you talking about? I have so much information. Did you know?
You had 2 pieces of information that
Ted
have been
Mosby
helpful.
was in Not Another Teen Movie. Did you know that? I bet you didn't, David. Well, now you do. Bam! A single fact. Right down.
You can't say things like that because I'm pretty sure that's like copyrighted from BuzzFeed from what's that called? Worth It.
What?
So they do all the facts. No,
really?
just facts in general.
Facts are copyrighted by someone.
I don't think you can copyright saying facts.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Cinco facts or Noodle fact or isn't that
Cinco Truth?
Okay, there's better. I like it.
No, Cinco Truth. What the fuck? that sounds weird.
We only spit the truth on our podcast. Okay,
that was a psych reference for the 2 people who know psych who don't listen to this podcast.
What's psych?
Oh, come on, Keith and Orville. Damn it. Our views would double instantly if both of them listened to
us. Yeah, because it'd be 2 people.
It would be 4. Because I'm pretty sure. Okay, shout out to Minor. Minor, I know, listens every week.
We have a Minor listening to this?
No, not his name is Minor.
Oh,
see, Franco. They listen to all our foul language and they're cool because they listen to it.
We're really edgy because nobody listens to us. only the truthers listen to us. And I think James Chatham also listens to us, so that's 2. So if we got Keith and Orville to listen, oh wait, Joe, that's 3.
How could you forget about Joe?
Joe's just
he's like day one. He's like the foundation.
That's true, and we've never been able to get him on the podcast.
It's true.
Maybe if we told him that we were going to watch Johnny Mnemonic, he would join us. That was the only way we'd do it.
Is if he comes on and reviews it also?
Correct.
You heard it, Joe.
Because you have to understand, we got to know why you're so obsessed with this one movie. Because it seems like every couple of years he'll pick a movie and then just will continue to hound us about it until he gives up.
We watch it.
Or that. One or the other. What about you, Stu? Do you participate in any trivia contests over the weekend?
No.
Or see any other movies besides, or TV shows besides The Power of the Dog?
I didn't watch any other movies, but I've been catching up on The Expanse.
Ooh. So, is that worth getting into? I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I would say so. I would say to watch it.
And that is available on
Amazon.
Okay. Have you given a shot to any of the other Amazon original stuff, like the Wheel of Time or any of the other ones?
No. Well, no. I mean, I have a coworker who's like all into the Wheel of Time, or at least the books. But I haven't. I don't know. We just haven't gotten into it.
Okay. Have you at least tried watching the first episode?
No.
Okay. All right. So Expanse. Stu's review is worth it. Is it worth it?
Well, you can't say that, David, because BuzzFeed has a trademark for the Worth It show.
Excellent. Thank you for catching that. What did I see? Oh, I finally saw Eternals over the weekend because it joined Disney Plus on Wednesday of last week. and the reviews are pretty accurate. The reason why it got, what was it, 53% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that, seems pretty accurate since it was all over the place.
You
It's
wish you had
definitely
your 2.5 hours back of your life?
Stu, did you watch it?
No.
Oh, I don't know if I wished I got 2.5 hours back, but I definitely after finishing the movie, I was wondering a lot about what did I just watch, what happened, and then it just sort of ends.
Isn't that how you feel about every movie we watch?
No,
Yeah.
What
not
if I
all
ask
of
you what
them.
you think about the movie we just watched today? Or I mean this
Well,
week.
I guess you'll have to find out in our review section, Ben.
All right, I'm writing it
But it
down.
also sort of just ends.
Well, everything. We got to put a moratorium on the just sort of ends meme, because I think we've been abusing it.
The reason why for Eternals that seems to be the case is I was reading some reviews about it, and the direction was they wanted to make something not so marvelly, is probably the best way to put it. They wanted to dive into like deeper topics of like love and like all this other stuff, and then also try to tie into the next like big bad, I guess. So it felt like it was pulled in a lot of like different directions, and then it feels like after 2.5 hours goes, they realize, wait, we need to wrap this up, and they wrap it up in about 5 minutes. What normally would be the like the big punchlines
that
for
seems
Marvel films.
that seems to be what happens when movies have way too many
Things
uh,
going on.
actors cast in it. Like
Yeah,
that they just kind of
I
like, oh
mean,
shit, we spent so much time character building
developing.
that
Yep.
we forgot to wrap up the story here.
I was thinking to my like we were discussing it, me and Irene were discussing it afterwards after we watched it. We're like, would this have been better off as, I feel like it would have been better off as a like a TV series. But I don't know if you could have gotten that big of a cast to sign on for a TV series. Obviously the two Game of Thrones veterans, obviously, they're fine on TV. But some of the other ones, I was just wondering. I was like, maybe this would have probably been better off as a TV show, right? Because then they would have been able to give you bite-sized chunks. Each person gets their own episode, and at the very end, they kind of do this whole amalgamation thing. I think would have been probably a little bit better, but they wanted to do a movie, and it definitely left a lot of holes and gaps and stuff like that. And not everybody got a chance to really shine in the movie, and it just finishes. So
God damn it, David! You can't just change the word and think that you slipped it by me.
I did. All right.
You didn't.
I did. Let's
Well,
just say I did. All
You
right.
didn't slip it by me, but
Nope. I
you
just
said the
laid it in
word.
front of you. Hey, look, there's a dead bird here. Isn't this what you wanted?
This is a side note, completely unrelated.
Okay.
Because I was just scrolling through Amazon Prime.
Uh-huh.
You know that thing, Ghost Stories, the anime?
Yeah.
Isn't that, because it's on Prime, but isn't that like, didn't you say that it's like not actually voice recorded properly,
No, that like
or
it
someone
seems
else?
like whatever you hear,
Hmm.
it seems like someone went on YouTube and just made their own stupid dub of it. But that is the official dub of it.
So this official thing on Amazon Prime
Wait,
is
no,
good.
hold on, wait. I gotta see this. Wait, hold
The 2001 Ghost Stories, right?
on.
Greg Aries.
Ghost Stories. Is it really the Ghost Stories or?
When
I
nearby
mean, it says
construction
ghost. It's
disturbs
Yeah,
the
got
that
spiritual
is
resting
that is
place.
it. That is it.
awesome.
Holy shit! I am. Well, I'm gonna sign off now. Holy fuck!
That's what he's going to be reviewing for the next week.
What
Wait.
was that one clip we were watching? Uh, what,
What I
what all
don't know.
principals look like lesbians?
Oh yeah, mom. I feel. I want to say like I don't know. This whole fucking show is just a treasure trove of just them just fucking around and seeing what they can get away with. I'm surprised that they release some of the shit they say because it's just like holy fuck. It's amazing. David, do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm staring at it right now, so I guess I'll
So
have to.
essentially, it's like this anime, right, that got released over in America, and this company was hired on to produce a dub of it. But for whatever reason, there was something where like they didn't really care what they dubbed it with. Essentially, something happened where like just all care in the world just fell through, and so the cast took it upon themselves to just make up whatever the fuck they wanted to record. And what they ended up recording is like
Gold.
it's so fucking bizarre, and it's just like there is no fucking way this is an actual like official dub of an anime, but it is.
But was it created here, or was it
No,
taken like all the animation was created from in Japan, but they just brought it over here and had them fix it?
Yeah, or I mean like
their
it's an actual Japanese anime. It's like it was made in Japan. They have a Japanese language anime for it, but then they brought it over here to get dubbed. To release it to America. And when they did it, they're just like, "Well, fuck it, let's go wild, let's party." Just like let's fucking do it. So I encourage you to go at least watch the YouTube clips of it because it is. I can't even fully
summarize
encapsulate
it.
Yeah, like how
it.
fucking bizarre and amazing the fucking dub is.
I want to know how you ended up stumbling on this, but I already we can already assume the answer.
It's quite the rabbit hole of a. Oh man, there's actually an episode that deals with the rabbit. That was a
I think
good
that's
one.
like the only clip I ever saw.
Is this the same thing that like Stu is always saying? Why don't you just hire an American person to help you guys with the dubbing so that way the English sounds right and it doesn't sound funny?
Oh, it's even better than that.
Oh, great!
It's even. Oh my god, there's yeah,
So
I don't want to
whatever.
give anything away. Just
Whatever like production house this was, they clearly should have gotten more work because of the.
I really wish they did more of this kind of shit. It's just like if that were true, holy fuck, I think I would. I would watch anything they put out.
You don't know, so it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Unabridged.
I would say yeah, except it's a professional quality. It's like if they actually had paid voice actors to do it, not just some fans. It's just
studio quality recording.
This was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Stories.
Ghost Stories, yes.
Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters. I'm sorry. That's the failed Amazon Prime like TV show, right?
Ghost Hunters? I thought that was like.
Oh no, yeah, there was one that had the guys that did Hot Fuzz and Simon Pegg and was that something else? I remember that. All right. Let's move over to our box office rundown for this week. As no surprise, at number 1 is Scream with $34 million. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home, $25 million. Number 3, Sing 2. Hey, that's an option for a movie of the week.
Oh, hell no.
Number listen to your favorite animals sing your favorite songs. Number 4, The Kingsman, the movie of the week from last week. Number 5, The 355. Number 6, American Underdog. Number 7, West Side Story. Number 8, Licorice Pizza. Number 9, The Matrix Resurrections. And number 10, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Well, I guess if you want to be at the top of the box office, just release your movie at this time of year because there's fucking nothing out.
Yeah. That's it.
Is that a common occurrence? Are there usually not movies out at this time of year?
I would have to double check. Let's take a look.
Movies are a myth. They haven't existed for years.
So last year around this time they had Jurassic. Oh no, that's a re-release. I'm not seeing anything big. Sing last year. No.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
You mean they made one last year and they already made a second one? Well, I guess
no, that was a re-release. My bad.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised since the whole movie is just pop.
There were nothing. Nothing was released that week, that month, in January. Nothing that I recognize. Shadow in the Cloud.
Shadow the Hedgehog?
No. You
Man,
wish.
I love that one.
Who the fuck is Bill Gates?
Yeah, no, I guess in January it's usually just kind of a crapshoot.
Kind of dead.
Oh no, The Grudge in 2020, January 3rd, at the beginning of the year was The Grudge. 2020 version. Like a Boss, Underwater, 1917 was released the beginning of 2020.
Well, we saw that in 2019 though.
That's true. Just Mercy, the Michael B. Jordan like lawyer flick.
None of these sound like big box office smash hits.
Doolittle, Bad Boys for Life. We saw that also in 2019, right?
I don't remember, but at like January time.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
The Turning, The Gentleman, Color Out of Space. So I guess it's just because of 2020, like it's kind of thrown some
This year
stuff
just
off. I
sucks
mean,
right now.
huh?
This year just sucks.
Well, I mean, if
It's
you
like last year.
if you if you rewind all the way back to 2019, I mean, Escape Room, The Nun.
Escape Room. Well, we saw the second one.
Yeah, we
That's
saw the
right.
second one. Not
I was like, wait a minute, that was 2 years ago.
And then yeah, so I guess January in general. Oh, Glass released on the 18th of 2019. But yeah, I guess in terms of wide releases, it's not a very strong month. Oh, I thought that was somebody else, but no, I guess January is not very strong in general. I mean, this month was supposed to be led by Morbius on the.
Shut up! Oh my god,
With Morbius.
Dude,
There
I'm
we go
telling you,
again.
that's the only big movie that was released this month. What do you want me to say?
I want you to say, "Shut the fuck up, David."
Man, David to Jared Leto is like Ben to Adam Driver.
Yeah, except Adam Driver, Jared Leto.
Whatever. Okay. I guess there's not much this week in terms of like news, except for the fact that it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And also there was a Twitter notification that came to my phone informing that Betty White would have turned 100 if she had made it this far today. So yeah, happy birthday to both of them. It's because it's his birthday
No.
today, right?
I don't. Well, I'm pretty sure the answer to that is no.
Whose birthday?
His birthday. No, his. Oh wait,
Nope.
that's
Okay.
when's
No,
his
his
birthday?
he was
January
born on the
15th.
15th.
So why do we? Oh, is
Maybe
it
it's
because it's
just the
just
Monday after.
the Monday? Okay, so
So I guess
it is
whatever.
a celebration of his birthday. Okay. Let's see what else is there. I saw a piece of like something interesting. Have you guys ever wanted your cocktails to taste like your favorite children's soup?
Do I want my cock to taste like?
So apparently,
children.
Campbell,
Well, I got a
Campbell's
cocktail for you.
Campbell's actually apparently is coming out with a line of recipes called broth tales. Like for example, like chicken noodle soup.
Wow.
I guess Ben, we were talking about Ben Stu. Last week we were talking about what the next alcoholic venture would be, and I guess they're moving into soups, alcoholic soups. So pretty
Chicken noodle
sure
soup.
I'm gonna
Shaken, not stirred.
I'll have a chicken and stars on the rocks.
Oh, you're a chicken and stars kind of guy. I'm
Dude, chicken
cream
and
of
stars
mushroom.
was the shit. I don't know if they still make it, but
They do.
I'm sure they do.
oh my god. I need to get
But
back
for
on.
some
the
reason, the
shit.
can's so much smaller than it used to, and you always have to mix it with water now.
I think that was
Just
always the
buy
case,
like
I
3
think.
cans. Just buy 4, 5.
Chicken
Go
and
wild.
stars is still a thing.
Yes, that was my favorite.
Yep, that is a classic, a certified hood classic.
Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna assume that you guys are both voting Cinco for broth tales.
I still don't really understand the concept. I'm just thinking about chicken and stars right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you just take a can of like chicken stars and put vodka in it, or how's that work?
There are 4 cocktails. One of them is
Are these like
pork
DIY
rum.
things, or are they actually selling them?
They're not selling it. It's a DIY, but they're the ones
Did you
who
find
released
this on
it
like
officially.
Etsy or like?
Yeah, what the
No, no,
fuck?
no.
Where'd
They
you
have
find it?
this
Is this a
officially
Pinterest thing?
released.
What?
No, it's not. It's from Campbell's.
It was an Instagram advertisement.
I was
saw it on
scrolling and
TikTok.
I clicked on one of the comments that said, "Click on my bio for steamy action."
broth tails, hot cocktails. I forgot where I found that from, but I was just reading some article. I was like, that sounds gross. But yeah, no, it uses their soup bases to create their, cocktails, whatever. All right,
Oh, so it's
let's move over.
actually they're supposed to be cocktails, but they just use the soup as an ingredient.
Correct, or the base
Okay,
for
I
it.
had it like the other way around, where it's like it's just soup that has alcohol in it.
I mean, the way you described it both times sounds like it's just soup with alcohol. Am I missing something?
Is one of them more appealing to you,
Here we go.
Stu or Ben?
Let's see. There's pho mango bourbon sour.
What?
I don't see at what point the soup gets involved in these things. Like, why do you need to have the soup involved?
Apparently it's the ice cubes that you're supposed to make with them.
What?
Wait,
Gross.
you make an ice?
So okay. So the first one is a Thai chicken Negroni. And then you would make the ice cubes out of the Thai chicken soup. And then that would go into your drink.
This just keeps getting worse. I don't understand where this is going.
Oh, wait, here you go, Ben. Maybe this will calm you down. The
Okay.
pork ramen mezcal margarita.
Now you're speaking my language.
I didn't even know Campbell's made a ramen flavor, like a ramen.
I
flavor.
didn't even know that either. That's why I thought it was kind of interesting. They apparently make a pho broth. I was like, wow.
A pho broth?
We got a bunch of Zoomers working at Campbell's now.
What's the can have? Does it have a whole bunch of like bean sprouts and mint?
It's
leaves,
not a
or-
can. It's the box.
Each can is attached with a little clear plastic bag of bean sprouts.
and just raw meat.
Yeah.
No, it gets packaged raw. You get the essence.
Or when you open up the top of the can, there's like a little tray that has the raw meat there, sitting above the broth.
Dude, that was such a game changer. I think the last time I ordered pho from a Vietnamese restaurant, they had the soup broth in the bowl, obviously, and then right above it had this clear, like tray that had all the stuff in it. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I guess I don't have to grab a bowl myself and mix it together anymore.
Dude, you
Just
know what
use
they
this-
have in
this one.
Japan though? They like if you go to like a 7-Eleven, you know, like the instant ramens, they
Mhm.
have that too, where like the noodles and like the broth and shit are separate. But when you heat it up, right, in like a microwave, and then as like one whole
Plastic
unit
melts into that, and then they mix together.
No. I mean that'd be also cool, but the noodles and everything separate from the broth, and then after you're done with it, you take it out, and there's like a little tab on the side. You pull it, and then like everything just like falls apart, and then like it melds into one.
What?
Like, you know how on yours like the noodles and the broth are separate, but you have to take the top
Mhm.
off, and then you have to slide the noodles in manually.
Oh, you're just saying you pull it and it just separates, and you take the two pieces out, and then it just falls in.
Yeah, you just pull a tab, and like the thing that's holding the noodles up just like drops it in.
Thank you so much for letting me know that, because when I go to Japan, I would have looked such like an idiot trying to like scoop the thing on it. Like, dude, there's a tab, but he's gonna be yelling at me in Japanese. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. what you're saying. Don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Ain't nobody.
It's kind of cool. I didn't even know that. I'm surprised. How come none of that stuff has made it here?
Because we're too
We
stupid.
We suck.
Everything's a choking hazard apparently, because that's why we can't have nice.
Can't have
things over
nice
here.
things.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Ben, go ahead and tell us about our movie of the week this week. The
Do you ever
of the
want to
dog.
watch a movie about dogs? Well, do I
Yeah.
have the movie for you? A giant red dog has taken
No.
over New York City.
Damn it.
The power
just-
of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh my god.
So, what did you think of Clifford? Did you like it, but when he was not big, or when he was big, David?
I liked him when he was transitioning from little to big.
What did you think about the motion capture technology they use on Benedict Cumberbatch to really bring out the character of Clifford the Big Red Dog?
This is going to be so confusing to anybody who's looking at this episode. Going, okay, we put the movie title in here because it's supposed to be reviewing Power of the Dog, but they keep talking about this stupid red dog, and I've watched this movie twice.
No, this is
There's
what
no red dog.
we're going to put the Power of the Dog as the title, but we're going to put Clifford the Big Red Dog
As
as
the thumbnail.
Power of Clifford. Actually, I was planning on watching that pretty soon, just
Wait,
because
are
of the
you
fact that
serious?
you keep talking about it.
Oh my god, you're just making all these decisions one after another. It's like I'm gonna watch Sing 2, I'm gonna watch Clifford, and then I'm gonna watch Morbius. Like, what's next, David? Are you gonna go down to Big Five and shoot yourself? Like, what's next?
Wait, why
What's
would
your
I do
next
that?
great plan? Well, I don't know. I mean, looking at these trajectories, like
You're the one who's seen Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I never told you to see it.
Confused.
Look at this week, because that's the movie of the week.
No, it's not. No, it will not be. Okay. Well, I guess that's Ben's synopsis for that movie. Whatever. All right, Stu. Thoughts on the Power of the Dog? Dude, I almost said Clifford again. All right, Stu.
I wish you did say Clifford, because I think I would have rather have watched Clifford the Big Red Dog than this movie.
So let's not bury the lead. What did you give? What rating did you give this?
Oh man. Like, I don't know, 3 out of 10. There was like it was like I was like kind of started off like interesting, and then it started doing like the different act things, and then I don't know, it just, to me, it was tough to have to watch this whole thing. I struggled getting through it. I was tempted to like scrub through parts of the movie because I'm like, oh my god, I get it. Can we move on? Like, can we move? Can we actually have something happen here? Um, so yeah, it was tough for me to watch. I wouldn't recommend it. And I
Did you
think
pause it at all?
no, but
No? Wow.
this movie kind of adds to my mounting pile of evidence that movies that
general-
win awards aren't necessarily good.
Could you see the merit of why it won best, like, picture?
I mean, it was a well done and well acted movie, but like the
source material
just
and the kind
I
of
don't know
like the
about
plot.
I don't know
and
anything
stuff.
about the source material, but I don't know anything about if there's what the religious or whatever undertones of Power of the Dog means. I didn't look into it at all, but just as a normie, just as like a general audience member, um, like there was no resolution I felt that was satisfying. It just it was tough to watch.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
And
Are you on the other side of this?
I gave it a 9.
You know, I had a feeling Ben was going to be like, "Oh, it was great because this, and this, and then the other thing that I read about."
I know, how
then-
terrible is that to like something and give reasons why you like? That's terrible.
I just gave you reasons.
I actually really liked it. It was like a slow wind up.
Don't
of a
even get
good
me
one.
started on the score.
Oh man, I love the score.
It was
Man.
fucking awful.
It was so nerve wracking. I felt like it was so unsettling.
Okay. I don't know if this
It was
counts as
unsettling to
spoilers.
me because it wouldn't let me nap when I
It
wanted to.
it was unsettling with nothing unsettling happening.
I thought it was very disturbing and very tense, the whole
Yeah,
time.
the score was, but the movie wasn't.
I thought it was. I thought like the actual plot and the events that were happening to all the characters, it was a little unnerving, It was Well, okay.
It was cringy to me. That's what it was. I felt like I was watching an episode, like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that was filmed in the 20s.
I really did think that everything that was happening to all the characters was, unfortunate. Like it was, well, I did like the overall motif of the movie, the like everything that's going on between all the characters, like everyone's being an asshole to each other, and it is a story that largely stems from like parental failures, and I really like how that theme kind of carries out throughout the movie. Like everywhere you look, that's why all of these things are happening essentially, and like each character kind of deals with it in their own way, and it's kind of interesting to see how that affects other characters as well. And the main star of the show, Benedict Cumberbatch, it's kind of weird to see him act in something not Marvel, and it's like I forgot that he he's
He
an
can act.
actually a good actor. So I think he really encapsulates all this anger, all this hate, scorn, and like all this longing for acceptance and approval, and he really sold his final scene in the movie. That's why I give it a 9 out of 10.
See, I could see why Ben would feel that way, but I agree with Stu. Like, I don't know. For me, I feel like as a general audience member watching this movie, I felt like a lot of that tension and uneasiness. It just kind of made me go, how much longer is this movie going to go for? And then I would check the time, like, there's still an hour? There's still an hour left. So for me, I'm with Stu. I actually was a little bit more generous. I gave it a 5. Just because I don't know. Like, this movie confused me a lot. I was like, what's the point? What's the purpose of this? And I get it. It's like this power struggle between, Benedict Cumberbatch's character Phil and I forgot the name of the kid, the guy's name. I forgot his
Peter?
name, Peter, and like their struggle for like defining how how to be a man, I guess. And then so he ends up taking like advantage of that. It's like I don't know. It I felt like it was really artsy, so I figured that was the reason why it. I mean, the shots were really well, were done well. I thought that some of the, but it puzzled me for most of the movie, and at the ending, I was just like, okay, I understand exactly what he was kind of leading up to, but I was like, man, that's a really long, drawn out way to end a movie. I was just like, oh my gosh, all right, we get it. He doesn't like this one guy is clearly trying to overcompensate for something, but I mean, you could do that in a lot of other ways instead of just having this like, because you can kind of tell from the very beginning that he's kind of an unsavory character. He's not really somebody that a lot of people get along with, and he embodies a certain type of like machismo. And then to feel like you're getting beat over the head with it for the next 2 hours, that I get it, but why do we have to keep rewinding the same thing, right? If you so I don't know what the point of the name of the title is, but maybe Ben, you can let us know what that means in the spoiler zone, because I'm pretty sure it has something to do with some of the plot points in it. But I am so glad I got to watch this at home instead of have to sit in a theater for 2.5 hours. Because if there was a movie that wanted me to get my like time back, it'd probably be this one.
That's what I said about Matrix.
Oh yeah, I could definitely agree with the Matrix. Holy fuck.
So okay, let's go to the box office. Not box office. Let's go to our spoiler
What's
zone
number
really
one,
quick.
David?
Yeah, let's hear this again.
At number one is no surprise. The power of the nope lies. All right, let's go to our.
Giddy up, little
Go ahead.
doggy, and head on over to the
Yeah, I was like
spoiler
trying to figure out
zone.
how do we segue over the just go. All right.
I
All
just
right,
did it.
Ben.
Yeah.
Why? What was it so much that you loved about this movie? Was it like a certain moment, or what put it over the top for you? Because 9 out of 10's like, what's missing then at this point for you to not give it a 10 out of 10?
The reason I did dock at a point was the reasons that you guys gave actually kind of summed up, was that it is a very slow burn of a movie. It takes a really long time to get where it's going. Like at the beginning of the movie, I didn't really know what to make of the movie. It's like, is it heads, tails? Like I couldn't even tell, like, am I liking this movie at this point? But then as it progressed along, everything started like kind of adding up and compounding together, and it formed this very tightly knit movie, where everything has some purpose. And yeah, like I said, the idea of parental failure is very evident throughout the movie. How was it Phil and George? Is that the two
Yeah,
brothers'
the
names?
brothers. I knew that you would love this movie because of your Plemonade.
Oh my god, pour me some lemonade. Oh my god. But yeah, the idea that their parents have failed them, they very much distance themselves from their children. They just give them the ranch. George is an idiot, essentially. They they just kind of hand him the ranch and kind of do it away with him. Now, Peter, from what I've read from the book, his parents know that he's gay, so they've distanced themselves quite away from him, and they've kind of just rejected him at that point. So
Wait,
that's why he
Rose
doesn't.
isn't his mom?
Or I'm sorry, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, if you hang
Yeah,
out
it's
with a
like
guy named Bronco Henry so often,
yeah, no,
sure you're
that's
gonna.
the other thing. So because of their negligence and him looking for acceptance for some sort of like father figure, that's what led him to Bronco Henry, and Bronco Henry just groomed him from a very young age into like what he is today, essentially. And that's why he developed all these feelings for him. Like he actually had romantic interest with Bronco Henry. I don't know how far that went. Like I don't know.
Oh,
you know, it just
I
hit me.
don't know how far it went. Come on, dude.
It didn't hit me until David just said it now. How like if you were to walk into like a male strip club and there was Bronco Henry on the stage,
Come on
like
down.
it would totally fit. But
Yeah. I mean,
in this context, I was just like, oh yeah, that's just what I call him.
no, I mean, if you look at a saddle, there's hearts on it. So I mean,
Well, I didn't stop frame for frame to look at the saddle.
no, I mean,
So
Look at the fidelity of this scene.
there was a scene where what's his name, Cody Smith McPhee, Peter, he was looking at the saddle and he was like caressing the heart on the saddle. And
well,
he was
like I
like giving a
said,
weird look to it, but yeah, I
I
mean,
thought we were gonna get some like
see,
Brokeback Mountain type
so here's the
vibes
thing.
from this movie.
Like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I was thinking. The whole like 30 minutes into the movie, I'm like, okay, this is like Brokeback Mountain in the 20s then.
mm,
And then, but then the whole rest of the movie, it's still like, see, have you got it yet? Did you get it yet that he's gay? I'm like, yeah, I got it like the first time. Can we do something with it? Or are you just gonna keep just kind of hinting at it?
They're
Like,
gonna
well,
keep teasing you with it, and then they're gonna end the movie making you wanting more.
well,
That's the
that's what
plan.
I kind of liked about it, because it wasn't so much the point that, oh, he's gay, he's gay, he's gay. It was more that he is gay, but like it's not explicit whether or not he is, and we don't know if Peter knows at that time. But
Oh, Peter knows. That's
oh,
the reason why he
it
took
was hitting me
advantage
over
of.
the head with it.
yeah, so later on in the movie, like you kind of see like Peter slowly formulating this plan of killing Phil because of the way that he's treating his mom. And so that's the way that Phil has kind of dealt with his parental negligence, is that, Rose has become very much of a drunk and like just ignoring Peter this whole time. And what he doesn't run away from it, he doesn't get angry. He actually tries to comfort his mother and by going after Phil. So he concocts this whole plan of how to actually kill Phil. And throughout the movie you see like small hints of him like trying to figure out like different ways to do it, and eventually you see him go down like with that horse to get that diseased cow that's been abandoned there, the one with anthrax. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where like that opportunity presented itself, where he said, oh hey, I have some leather that you can use, go ahead,
Mhm.
take it. And that's how he developed
Yeah,
anthrax and died.
yeah.
So
So that whole sequence was weird to me because I'm like, it was like, okay, so all of this points to the side, like he was premeditating this.
yeah.
But then also the other gripe I had with the movie and specifically the characters of Kirsten Dunst's character,
Hmm.
because I was like, okay, so he made some off color remark to in the beginning, and
Hmm.
that apparently just like sent her into a like a depression spiral or something,
Hmm.
and then and then she marries his brother, and then they move in, and I don't know if it's supposed to be implied, but I never got the feeling like sure he was like rough around the
Mhm.
edges to her. I never got the vibe that he was like doing anything to her to warrant her son going after him and killing him.
Well, she was like more. It was more the fact that like he realized that Phil's like constant torment, right? Constantly like essentially antagonizing her or making fun of her was causing her kind of like question herself, right? Oh, like whenever she was playing the piano, he would play the banjo, right?
Well,
Or
see,
whenever they were
that part
looking
was
for something.
confusing to me though because at first it seemed like that was like an olive branch, like hey, let's jam
No, no,
in
no.
my mind.
I knew from the
That's
very
I
beginning
actually
it
got
was
the
him
same feeling.
antagonizing her. Like it was teasing
No, no, no,
her.
no,
Like,
no.
look how
You
good
don't
I
know.
am
You
versus
don't
you.
get to make that decision though in retrospect. During the movie, it seemed to me, and even to the end, it seemed like he was trying to extend an olive branch, and she was
Hmm.
just in this is how
Just
I
being
viewed the movie,
crazy about it.
and she was just being like, and that's why I didn't understand her reaction. I'm like, it seemed like he was trying to like, because every time she started, he would start over again with her. That seemed like an olive branch to me.
Yeah, so I actually had that same feeling during that scene where like, oh, he's like trying to play along with her, It seems like he's trying to be friendly, but towards the end of that scene, she tries playing it again and again, and he just went faster and faster, and like,
Yeah,
he
he's
just
like
like
mocking
fuck
her.
you, and just like, did that crazy banjo solo, and just like
Like bing, 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 bing,
Well,
bing, bing,
sometimes you just
bing.
got to finish the phrase. As someone who
and
someone
sometimes
who
you gotta
plays
put
guitar, you can only play that same phrase so many times before you need. It's like a sneeze. You have to do it. Like,
or sometimes you don't, sometimes you go and then you just
and it's
don't.
like, it didn't come out.
But yeah, I think throughout the film, Phil was definitely more antagonistic, and it was in very small, like in little microaggressions, and it was played over a very long time. So who's to say that, like, it was just only in those instances. I do like the way in the film, like, what's his name, Phil is walking around the house, like you have this like dread almost whenever you hear his spurs like going out
Oh,
through the
like
house,
what's
like
next? What's he's gonna do next?
like sometimes you don't even see him, but you do hear his spurs. It's like, what is he up to, what is he gonna do now, so that was the sense of unease that I got throughout the movie. But I could see why you think that, like, or you feel that it's not so much of a big deal, right? It's just
Yeah,
like him.
well, because like I guess going back to what I mentioned, it was like he wasn't like the greatest guy,
Mhm,
obviously, towards her or really anyone.
mhm,
Um, but did I feel like watching the whole movie, even like his little whatever slights he did against her,
mhm,
this warranted her son going after and killing him or figuring out some way to kill him?
mhm.
Mm.
Did I find that? Did I think that was? Did I that line up to me? It didn't line up to me that anything he did. Now, if he was like I don't know, if he did something like more egregious, then okay. But like it never really. It just kind of like shows little like like you said, little
Petty.
microaggressions here and
It
there.
almost
Right,
seems
right.
like petty, right? Like you're gonna be like, "Oh, you mess with my mom, I'm gonna kill you," like one of those things. So, what does the phrase "the power of the dog" actually mean then? Is it
So,
like, hey, the watch out for the person that that you're most like underestimating because the dogs are considered loyal and kind of like out of the way kind of thing?
well, they did, mention where it came from at the end of the movie.
Yeah, in
Yep,
the
from the
Bible, but
Bible
that still
verse.
didn't answer it for me.
Yeah.
It's from the Book of Psalms, right, David? It's it's particularly when Jesus was up on the cross. Um, from the actual full passage, I think it start like Psalm. I don't know what, but it talks about, or Father, why have you forsaken me? Save me,
That
my
is not
darling.
in Psalms.
Uh, you want to bet? You want to bet?
Well,
You want to bet?
wherever it's from.
Psalms is before Jesus. That's before the Gospels. Jesus wasn't even a part of the entire thing until the New Testament.
Let's look it up.
Psalms is in the Old Testament,
Oh boy, here
thousand
we go.
percent.
Welcome, Dos and Half Cinco's reviews the King James Bible or whatever. Quick aside while you look that up. When I was in when I was when I was a kid, I went to a Christian school, and we would always have Bible readings. but I didn't have the King James version of the Bible. I had some goofy other version of the Bible.
NIV, what?
I don't know what it just had like a bunch of kids and on like with like backwards hats and skateboards giving like thumbs up on the cover. It was
Radical.
weird. Yeah, it was like the Radical Bible or something. And every time I got called on to read read something, I was like,
According to one interpretation.
I start
Okay.
reading. It's like, no, that's not right, Stuart. Like, as I don't
The
have.
righteous, the bodaciousness of. Okay.
Yeah, I wish it was
Okay.
written like that, but
So, according to one interpretation, the verse is a prophecy about Jesus Christ's suffering during the crucifixion, with the sword denoting the authority of the Roman government and the Jewish. But then it also said, but Psalms predates that book.
Yeah,
It's
prophecy.
fine, whatever.
can we
Power of the
stop
Dog
teasing
refers
and
to
get to the point?
okay. According to this article, meaning the power of the dog refers to Jesus's enemies coming together to attack him like a pack of dogs. One of the other Christian interpretations regarding the sword is a metaphor of for complete destruction. In this context, my darling is interpreted as human soul, while the power of the dog means the power of Satan. So
Right.
you have two, like, I don't, so I still don't get it.
So who's the dog and who is the person being attacked in this movie?
So I looked at it from two different angles. Like it could either you could either interpret it as the dog being Benedict Cumberbatch Phil, right? How he is the evil one, tormenting Rose essentially, and from Peter's perspective, his darling being Rose, and him protecting her from that. But like you said,
no cause.
Does his like do his actions really justify what he did? Like,
yeah, I mean, if
that,
it
like,
did, if I gotta say, if it was the first one, in my mind, they did a piss poor job of relaying that he was like really
bad
being
dude.
that like abusive to her.
I thought he was pretty.
I agree.
Did he
with
lay
that.
a hand on her? Did he scream at her?
You
Did
don't have to
he?
do that to
I know
be.
you don't have to do those things, but does that necessarily warrant like murdering someone?
Well, he did
Well,
pick
yeah.
apart everything in her entire life, right? Constantly picked on her kid, constantly picked on her ability
Well,
to be able
he picked on
to
her kid like
provide.
once in the beginning.
Well, that was a pretty big pick on his kid. Like, you're destroying his art. Like, if like somebody were to like
Okay,
for
but
my
does
kid,
that warrant killing someone over it?
Well, he did it, and whether or not you
my
think it's
biggest gripe for
justified or
this
not.
movie is you don't know how long this like takes place for, right?
Exactly.
They
They
give
do
you
a
all
piss
these
poor
acts. It's
job at
like,
that too.
yeah, they go act one and then just I'm sorry, Stu, but I can't not say it. But it literally just ends one act after another. It
I
goes,
know.
blah, 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 act two. I'm like, what the
I
what the
was going to
f
give
was
you a
that?
pass to say it this time.
Oh, okay. Because then that literally is what happens, right? It like a series of events happens, and then it just flashes two, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that this is what you were doing, and you have it doesn't even establish any like any setting. It doesn't tell you when. It just literally ends
Yeah.
every single time, and it just moves on. It's just okay, you guys got that. It's kind of like a professor that when they're like teaching a course, they just kind of just like, all right, you have the book in hand. I'm like, but I don't have the book in this particular case. I
And
haven't
that's why
read the
David failed
syllabus,
all his classes.
and that's why I lead this podcast, because I
I
have to
mean,
make up somewhere.
I
But
stopped buying books after
that
one
was the
point.
part that was really, huh?
I stopped buying books at one point because I never used them.
Because you realize that it's just like $200 that all you're
Yeah.
doing is you're paying whoever the hell Rand McNally, not Rand McNally, but
Rand
whoever
McNally.
the pretty. I was
Rand
buying a
what?
lot of buying lots of maps. Sorry. But yeah, it's like they wanted to do the same thing because it made sense in the last duel, right? Because there's a break between different acts, and it's built like kind of like almost like a Shakespearean play where there's a period of time that goes beyond, and you have to assume that it kind of goes this certain trajectory, and it keeps that. And then now you've been brought like slightly further into the future, and they've had time to kind of let this marinate, right? There's the betrayal, right? And then there's the giving of the new this movie, it just moves on to a second act and doesn't tell you where we're being placed, right? It could be 2 hours, it could be 2 days, it could be 2 years, right? Who knows how long this thing is? The only thing that we know between the time at the beginning of this movie and somewhere in the middle is that Peter is in school for something, right? And he's back for summer break. So you're telling me in that 6 months, he continues to Phil continues to keep torturing Rose to the point that she's constantly complaining to him, and then he like figures out in his head, I need to befriend this guy who has homosexual tendencies, or he's gay, and I'm going to take advantage of that so that way he will befriend me, and then I can figure out a way to be able to kill him at the end.
Yes.
That's the part that that's way too, that's stretching it way too much.
So what you're telling me after all that
is I like this movie?
So, David, your score?
I guess
it's gone down. It's a 3 now. Like, I'm mad.
Welcome to the basement.
I'm not going to get got. You got got.
All right, it's a 2 now.
I guess your enjoyment of this movie stems in how you interpret the actions of the characters on screen. So
right,
I thought it was I felt like probably this movie could have been an hour and a half, and you would still gotten the same sentiment. I would have just not felt like I was robbed of an extra hour.
And like, are we supposed to believe that like what's his name, the guy from Breaking Bad,
Jesse Plemons?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, it was like
George.
The whole time, if this is like spanning over a long period of time, the whole time he's just unaware of these transgressions.
I think
he's not available. Yeah, they were always saying like he was out of town for business or something like that.
Well, that was the other thing that I mentioned. You know, it was like how all the brothers kind of turned out. Like George is the idiot brother. Like he can't do anything really.
But they both went to college.
No, he dropped out of college. He failed.
Phil finish?
Phil finished. He's the bright star, but he got chastised by his parents because he was gay. So that's why George is an idiot. Like he doesn't really understand what's going on. He can't take social cues. Like he's made that very abundantly clear. Like
that's where I mentioned the Curb Your Enthusiasm part where he's like,
I
have the governor coming over.
No, the best part was when he shows up at the person at Rose's restaurant afterwards, and he goes, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Yeah, so I really do like their characterizations of all the different characters in the movie. You know, it kind of shows how they all deal with like, their parents, right?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I thought weren't their parents like, "Oh, Phil, come! I thought you were going to give us conversation or something."
Yeah,
I missed your conversation.
Like, so that didn't strike me as that didn't strike me as they were chastising him.
It was in that moment, like I saw it as they normally do not give a shit about Phil, but in that moment they know
that the governor is there.
Yeah, the governor's there.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff that Phil does is to kind of distance him. Well, from what my interpretation is that Phil does a lot of things that he does to distance himself from everyone around him. Like,
gotcha. So the way that instead of getting into society, he's separating himself, like being outside all the time and constantly doing hand stuff instead
of not showering, being a pro gamer and not showering, just like
I mean, I thought that was just what you did back in the day. And from what I've heard, like from tangentially, I don't think showering really helped that much as far as your smell back then.
Yeah, especially if you're hanging out with horses all the time. You could shower every day and you're still
because you still got like rancid BO afterwards.
And that continues on today.
Yeah, that's true.
Letty, like showering does not help anything.
See, Letty, I have people who agree.
So our title of this episode is going to be "The Power of the Dog." Showering does nothing.
Power of the shower. Power shower.
Deodorant, it does nothing.
It's science.
Yeah. I think one final thought for me on this movie: I could have gone my entire life without ever seeing Doctor Strange's junk.
Woo,
oh
man,
that's the reason why we're giving an extra point. I'm pretty sure.
It shattered the illusion. I was like, I don't. Gosh.
That space between the 9 and the 10 was to fit.
I can't take Doctor Strange seriously anymore. I'm supposed to be seeing the Multiverse of Madness, and I'm just gonna be thinking like he had the muddy floppy junk, floppy junk,
and flopping around chasing Cody Smith McPhee.
Yeah, get out of here, you little bitch, or whatever he said.
Were you gay?
I would have thought that he would have probably been like, "What are you doing over there? Get in here." I really thought the opposite would have happened, but I guess he's ashamed of his sexual orientation. Is that it? Or
Well, I mean,
he's
that area was locked away, and you know that it had some sort of like significance for Phil because he put all this memorabilia from like Bronco Henry there,
I thought
and
that was his porn stash.
I that
no, there's
memorabilia
the
from
name of the
Bronco
very top
Henry.
says
Like
I made a book for you.
yeah, so I mean, like him, like fucking, what was it, just bathing with a scarf from
That's-
Bronco Henry and like stuffing it down his pants
Yeah.
is just like, oh,
And then
okay.
also like covering himself in mud and stuff like
Yeah.
that. People pay extra for that.
And I would pay extra for that.
See, I think that's
See?
what David was mentioning. Like, it could have been like an hour and a half movie because there was like 45 minutes of the movie going, "Hey,
He's gay.
here's the thing. He might be gay if you look at the things he's doing in this scene." Like, yeah, I got it from the last 5 scenes that you did.
But are you sure you know?
Are you
that?
sure? Because
No.
here's another one. Now he's got the scarf and he's like
That part
smelling it
kind
and
of
putting it
confused
on
me.
his face.
Irene had to
wrapping it.
point it out. She was like, "That has a." I was like, "What's so special about this handkerchief?" She goes, "Did you see the embroidery?" And I was like, "Do I have to rewind to be able to see this?" And she goes, "Yeah." To rewind, I was like, "Oh, there's a B and an H on here." I was like, "God, okay."
BoJack Horseman.
Okay, all right, we're wrapping this up. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Dos and a Half Cinco's. As always, I'm your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
I'm Ben.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're finding your podcasts. We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and Google and Apple Podcasts. Also on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/Dos and a Half Cinco's. Don't forget to tip your Reiki master. Stay safe out there and try some of these Campbell's broth tails. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Are they paying you?
No. Yes. In pho boxes. Boxes of pho broth. All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.